Gen Z are only just entering the workforce, and if you think that doesn't mean it's time to start thinking about retirement, think again. Superannuation is a cornerstone of financial security in retirement for Australians, yet despite the crucial role of super in retirement planning, the level of engagement and understanding of superannuation varies widely across generations. In this series, we'll be investigating these different perspectives to see how each generation can make the most of their super. In this episode, we're looking at Gen Z as they enter the workplace and how their steps today could greatly impact their retirement. In today's economic landscape, the relevance of superannuation for Gen Z comes into sharp focus. As Australians grapple with financial uncertainties, Findex's Superannuation and Retirement Insights report unveils a noticeable generational gap in the understanding of the importance of super. While older generations recognise its significance, many young people remain disconnected from its potential impact on their financial security, with only 13% of Gen Z viewing superannuation as a key investment. In this video, we'll be delving into the intricacies of Gen Z's relationship with superannuation, exploring why early engagement and informed decision-making are crucial for shaping a prosperous financial future. I've taken to the streets to gain an insight into what Gen Z actually think about superannuation. So how often do you think about super?
Not incredibly regular, but I do work and I have worked for quite a few years, so I like to check up on it occasionally, and it's quite a relevant topic right now.
I just think of it as something a bit too far for me, at least at this point, to be concerned about. But it's definitely something that I think you should start planning from a young age.
I thought about it 3 days ago, so maybe once every week.
I don't really think about it too much because I don't really know much about it.
To find out more about what super actually is, I've sat down with Simone Vasnaik, an associate from Findex.
Superannuation is nothing but your retirement savings. There are some rules and eligibilities around how much you can contribute into super, as well as when you can access super. Superannuation traditionally isn't accessible until you've fully retired. So for someone that's quite young, that can seem a mile away, and something that maybe isn't a priority at the moment. But superannuation is a very, very important vehicle to maximise your wealth in the future. So a really important thing for young people to keep in mind is ensuring that your superannuation is not only invested appropriately, but also that the fees and costs, as well as insurance potentially within your superannuation fund, isn't depleting your superannuation balance. Because at the end of the day, your superannuation will and currently is a big portion of your asset base. For a young person, their superannuation might actually be the largest asset that they have, and they don't even realise it because they haven't checked the balance.
So if super is typically accessed at retirement, how often do Gen Z consider their own retirement as something relevant to them? Have you started thinking about or planning for your retirement savings?
No, but I do have a super account that gets money in it every week.
Not right now, but I do think about my retirement in the future because that's something that I do want to do. Maybe like earlier, maybe like 50 something. I really do want to retire early.
Not entirely. I think it's always a conscious thought, especially with the cost of living right now. Everyone's kind of pushing for what the future's going to look like, but I've never really set myself a sort of plan to look at.
It is something that's so far in the future that you never know what could happen. Whether it's legislative changes pushing that out even further, or potentially not living that long, these are definite considerations to keep in mind. But at the end of the day, do you want to wait till your retirement before you've realised, geez, I should have done something about this. I should have taken more of an initiative or taken on the advice of a financial professional, like you would, your own health. You could say the same thing about your body or your physiology or your mental health. What if I don't live that long? Do I really care about what I'm doing with my body? No, we don't plan. That's not the way that we plan for our future with our health and our well-being. We shouldn't plan that way for our financial future either. So Gen Z can optimise their superannuation in a couple ways. The first and probably most important way is to ensure that it's appropriately invested in the right investment option. A lot of the time, if you don't take an active approach in reviewing your superannuation, what happens is they put you in a default option that everyone falls into. That might not be appropriate to your personal circumstances, and especially for someone of a younger generation, your investment horizon or time frame is a lot longer. So your ability and capacity to take on risk might be longer than someone who's, say, just pre-retiree or someone that's in the retirement phase. So it's really important to ensure that your investments are invested in line with your risk profile, your risk tolerance, and investment time frame to really maximise your superannuation savings. Another really important thing to keep in mind is reviewing the fees and costs of your superannuation, as well as the insurance within your superannuation, and ensuring that you're not only insured appropriately, but that the premiums aren't depleting your superannuation balance from either being overinsured or aligning yourself to an insurance provider that potentially doesn't give you the best premiums or the most competitive premiums in the market. So these are ways in which an advisor can sit down with you, identify your needs and objectives, and investment time frame, and needs in terms of insurance as well, level of cover, to ensure that your superannuation is maximised in terms of paying the least amount of fees and having invested in a portfolio that will give you the most amount of growth within your specified risk profile. So I think another really important thing is to maybe ask your family or your friends, are you seeing an accountant or a financial advisor, someone in the financial services space that you can then go to have these conversations either by yourself or with your family.
With this in mind, I want to find out whether Gen Z place importance on saving and retirement planning.
I think it's super important, especially because we're so uncertain at the moment with what the future's actually going to look like. I think there's a lot of pressure surrounding it, but I think it's also important to sort of reform how that's going to look for us and improve how it's going to look in the future.
I think it's really important to save, not even for retirement, but just in general.
With the situation that we got with the economy right now, it's important to have something secured for yourself and your family in the future.
I think that now it's almost more important than ever because financially things are really tough right now with the cost of living crisis. So you're sort of having to look towards not only trying to get through the now, but what's going to happen with the economy in 50 years. So yeah, any little bit that I can invest now into my future will hopefully make it a bit easier for me.
With the cost of living crisis clearly at the forefront of Gen Z's mind, what can they do in order to try and secure their own financial future?
For Gen Z, I know when I sit down with a lot of my friends, they don't really consider their superannuation as an asset, and some of them don't even know it's there. I think that's a really important educational piece and value add to really help people visualize using some of the tools and resources that we have to project out what would a scenario look like over a 10, 20, 30 year long period. How can compound interest help build wealth? All of these factors are really important educational piece that can provide a young person with so much value. They just haven't identified it yet because of their limitations and cognitive bias sometimes.
So while superannuation may seem distant or complex to many young Australians, the reality is that early involvement can significantly impact long-term financial security. As we navigate through economic uncertainties, it's important to remember the importance of informed decision-making and the impact of starting early to build a solid foundation for retirement. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe and hit the bell to be notified every time we upload a video. We've got a lot of valuable information coming your way. And check out Findex's Superannuation and Retirement Insights report linked in the description. In the meantime, you can check out some more great content right here on the Findex YouTube channel.